So the bad news is that Randy Pitchford is not going to have to go back and work on that ice cream stand. Borderlands 4 is actually epic and all of the split screen is working as it should. My name is CouchCoop. I have waited quite a while to make this video, apologies loyal fans. Borderlands 4 was released on the 12th of September 2025 and the first thing I'm looking at is the quality mode with the horizontal split. Yes, we do have a vertical option and joy of joys, you don't have to go to the main menu to actually toggle it. The vertical split is my preference. I wanted to see the quality mode with that line down the middle. Truth is, when stuff gets busy, when push comes to shove, it has a bit of a wobble. Your safest bet for a good split screen game is vertical and performance, or performance and horizontal, it's your call. The Gears PS5 review didn't feature a vertical split, it's all horizontal. I will link it. Hopefully that game will include it at some point, but it is of course preference. Now there is a slight disclaimer here. This is a family member helping me with this game. Zero Borderlands experience. See if you can spot which screen they are on. The family member in question is a genius at kart racing, and that is my next video. No spoilers, but that new Sonic game's off the hook. So you are going to see some slightly redundant gameplay over there on the right hand side, but the effort's there, and this is really a test on performance with that split screen mode. This is patch 1.003. That was another reason for the delay, is I wanted to keep the content back until they had put as many day ones in inverted commas in as possible. I don't think the split screen was this smooth when it first came out on launch. Testing out that vehicle stuff was really important. Does the game run okay when everybody's traveling at speed? And trying to see if there are any major issues within that performance mode, full stop. The good news is there's basically zero. And remember, this game does also include 4-screen split. That is something I will get to on the test front because it's very interesting. If you're not aware, this is a brand new video game, essentially AAA, one of the more popular on the market, and it's included local co-op 2, 3, 4 player. That's a real winner. What isn't a winner though is that the pads have gone up in price, so it's 65 quid for a PS5 pad now. If you wanted this going at 4 player, that's an extra 260 quid already added to the £70 price mark. In total, that's nearly the price of another console. And talking of other consoles, I desperately want to try this game out on a PS5 Pro. I'm aiming to get one before the end of the year once I've accumulated the cost for those extra pads. My Patreon account will be linked in description. As you can see, we are sort of soldiering through. This area in the game is kind of your first open biome, and you have a number of different quests that are all linked by quite a lot of distance. You can go around, you can get in trouble just on an ad hoc basis. The Borderlands model hasn't essentially changed too much, but they have stretched some of the areas to being quite vast open sections. Don't really have a major issue with it. I imagine the game was going to go in that direction anyway. And you've also had some cool tweaks added to the specials. You've got a standard double jump and a jetpack, and everything is just louder, brighter, faster. There's loads of status effects. The gore is still pretty amazing. The music pumps in when the action starts. It's got a feeling of very high production, and I want to say that as a local co-op video game enjoyer, it's not often we get that pleasure to have a brand new 9th gen first person shooter be totally amazing in local co-op.
This thing has shields, right?
I do also feel it's important to establish that I will be doing this video again immediately after any major patch update. This video game will remain regular on the channel, like Lords of the Fallen or No Man's Sky. Anything that happens with it that may affect that quality mode and the split, I'll immediately put some more content together. And I want to also test some mid-game and late-game bosses and levels, so Lewis will be in at some point and will really put the performance through the ringer with some of the busiest sections of action. action. There is also a manual health inject, and the revive system is identical, meaning they still have the second wind, but you can also approach your local co-op buddy and bring them back manually. This game is so much fun local co-op. I mean, Borderlands 3 was pretty damn good local co-op, and that puts me on to the launch of that game and what went on with that horizontal and vertical. We were stuck with horizontal for a very, very long time. To see this out the gate with the vertical, maybe not performing that well, but after patch 3, I certainly don't have anything to complain about in that performance section. One thing to be wary of, and I don't think this was in Borderlands 3, 2 or 1, and that is the local co-op extra player cannot really join if the first player is in a game, in the campaign, etc. You will have to be on that main menu to move forward with the second person. It's like a lobbying system, very similar setup with Gears. But you can return to single player without having to go onto that main menu. The second player can leave and not disrupt the game too much. I'm pretty sure I've got that right. I want some comments on that, because when you fire up the pads, it doesn't really recognize the profile if you're in game. And also you do need a profile because there will be data against your progress. I also want to answer the question of offline only DRM, that sort of thing. This PlayStation 5 was taken to a separate address and not put on the internet. I couldn't be bothered with the Wi-Fi code. Everything totally fine. I was really quite surprised at that, considering there are patches for this, but I installed the latest one before leaving my place, and then everything was just rolled out as normal with the machine being completely offline. Also, no paid extra or PSN accounts. These are just standard PS5 profiles. I did want to try the scaling. The game traditionally sometimes in areas had problems with it. What I mean is, if one player is of very high rank and the other is of lower, they pitch the enemies sort of in the middle. This can and can't be disruptive because they're really easy for the high rank player and they're pretty damn tough for the low rank player. They don't seem to sort of find that sweet spot, which is technically quite difficult. I will get to that because I do want to see how well they handle it, but for point of argument, we're both like 7 or 8 here. It was kind of perfect.
These order tanks just don't bleed right, you know?
Also, no major disruption on another player dying. Sometimes that would muck up the screen that didn't die. And the inventory screen doesn't stutter or muck things up too bad. That one also could be stress tested a bit more. So on the second run, I will look into that. What I'm talking about is changing weapons in and out of the options on one of the screens. Used to be a complete nightmare on Borderlands 3, and they took a long while to straighten that one out. So everything is great in conclusion, but stick to the performance mode and keep an eye on the channel for further patch updates from my good self. The next video, as mentioned before, could be one of the best 9th generation kart racers I ever played in local co-op. My name was, of course, Couch Cube, and I look forward to seeing you down there.